Hello, everyone. I'm Guildmaster Dan, and welcome to the Fourth Wall. Today, I'm going to be bringing you a new segment that I call Just a Brick, where we talk about certain situations that would make unique role-playing situations or have a lot of potential for interesting interactions in your game. Today, specifically, we're going to be talking about survival, and in more particular, on a deserted island. Let me start by painting a picture for you. your your PCs are on their mission, whether it's a long drawn out mission or it's just their latest quest that they're going on. But in their travels, as they're going off to accomplish this important goal, they find themselves on a ship. Now, depending upon setting, it could be an airship, a normal ship, or a spaceship. Doesn't matter. They find themselves on a ship, and in the course of their travel on this ship, something happens. Either something on the ship where there's a malfunction, or maybe even something off the ship, such as a maelstrom or a comet, again, depending upon your setting. Um, but something happens that makes that ship go off course and causes a bunch of havoc and confusion. And in the course of like all this chaos, your PCs are knocked out. They lose consciousness, probably from the ship shaking around or being hit on the head by loose debris. Something happens that knocks them out, and they wake up. They wake up to find the ship abandoned, and worse, it's falling apart and sinking. They scramble real quick to get off the ship as it is filling with water or sand or air is venting out, something that's causing the ship to tear itself apart and get those PCs off the ship. So they scramble and they hurry, and they don't have enough time to grab all their stuff because where they were is filling with water or losing air, whatever. They don't have time. They got to get off this ship before they die. They get to the escape pods or to the rowboat or what have you, and they see that there's an island or a planet nearby, just some manner of safety that is not this ship that is about to go under. And they flee. They flee to the shore, or they go for a crash landing on the planet, and they're safe. They finally get a chance to breathe and take in their situation. Your PCs, as they discover that they are alone. There's no one around. As they start to look around and explore the area, there's no sign of life other than native flora and fauna. Two, they lost most of their stuff. They don't have they have maybe a quarter of the things that they had in their inventories before. Maybe only what they had on their person. The less the better. Outside. As a GM note, the less the better. But anyway, number two, they don't have their stuff. Number three, their means of transportation is gone. A rowboat is not going to get you across the ocean, and an escape pod is not going to get you to the next star system, or the next habitable star system. Pardon. And lastly, they realize that they're either hungry or it's getting dark. This is the situation that not a lot of game masters think of, because in most role-playing games, when the game master and the player come to the game, they're thinking of, okay, we're going to tell a story. It's going to be a more cooperative story, or I'm going to be telling this, helping lead them through this great adventure. But they're going to be telling a story. There's goals. There's people to talk to. There's things happening, and there's large stakes. We're trying to save the world. We're trying to make sure the Elder God doesn't wake up, or we're trying to backstab the people above us so we can become higher up in the Camarilla. There's big stakes and there's goals. When your PCs find themselves in this situation, all that stuff, all those goals and aspirations and high stakes are gone. They find themselves in a life-threatening situation where they're not being directly threatened by an enemy or a monster, but rather just by time. Because it is only a matter of time until they run out of food or die of disease. It has become a matter of surviving. There's no enemies. There's nobody trying to kill you. The only thing that's trying to kill you is your own lack of having resources. Now now you have new goals. I need food. I need water. I need shelter, and I need protection. Well, how do you get these things? It's up to the players. This is a unique situation where your players have to figure out how to work together in order to survive, or possibly escape, or they're going to die, or at worst, stay stranded here for the rest of their lives. And naturally, they want to eventually escape. They want to survive and then get off this island or this planet so that they can go back and, continue saving the world, because everyone knows that's really important over there. But right now, what's the most important thing is getting food, shelter, water. Other than this being a unique role-playing situation, it can be very useful for a game master. Namely, this situation is fantastic for team building. Fantastic. Do you have infighting in your party? Do you have characters who all have different motivations, or are kind of pulling in their own directions, and there's no real party cohesion? This situation can help. Because it literally becomes, if you do not contribute to the team and help out, everyone is going to die. Now, if you're going to give this situation a try, I do have some suggestions to help it go off well and make it seem nice and authentic. The description I gave before at the beginning there is typically an easy way to get them into this situation, in that it's very unexpected and just, bam, hits them out of nowhere. It also stands as like an accent, an emphasis that this is out of the ordinary and this is going to be tough. Now, once they're actually on the island, there's some things you can do to really enforce that whole life-death situation thing. Excuse me. Well, the first thing, like I mentioned before, the less they have, the better. This is all about getting the players to think creatively and to work together. So having all the tools and gadgets and tricks that they had before that they came to rely on would really make it too easy, not make it challenging enough for what this is supposed to do. What the players need to do in this situation is they need to learn how to work in the absence of those tools, make new tools, or learn how to make what few tools they still have do twice the job that they were meant to do before. Resources need to be scarce, and they should be hard won when they do get them. Water should be an immediate concern. Wherever they land, there should not be an easily accessed form of water. They should not have water. That they need to be able to find that or learn a way to generate it. That needs to be that water is extremely important to extremely important to living, and that needs to be reinforced here. And not having it and not having an easy way to get it is the easiest way to do that. Same with food. Food should not be easy to obtain. There should not be just fruit on the beach. If there is fruit on the beach, it should be it should be poisonous, or there should be very few of it, like 3 coconuts in total on the beach. So they have to learn how to ration that off. They have to learn to make their own rations, or they have to learn to go and hunt. They have to learn to forage. The resources need to be hard won to really reinforce this whole, we need to work together to overcome this situation, or we're going to die. Next, you want to keep the pressure on. A good way to do that is with the environment. The pressure needs to be on either through the weather, in that maybe it's a bad time of year and the sun's just like scorching hot, and you can't wear like big heavy armor or anything like that because you're just going to start overheating and passing out. or it's monsoon season and there's water and lightning all the damn time and waves are really big, so you got to flee inland. Something that adds that element of Mother Nature will destroy you unless you figure out shelter and how to overcome this situation. But let's say you don't want to go the weather route, or you're not too sure that your party will work well without combat. Well, this would be a good place to introduce deadly predators. Great place for dinosaurs or big cats or any other exotic predator that you can think of that you'd like to introduce. Something that is big and deadly and will stalk your players to punch in that level of danger that, you know, man, we are hungry. Man, we are in danger. It needs to be a situation that they have to overcome together. It has to be hard. Taking on this situation is putting your players in a position where they are no longer heroes, they're survivors. This situation is a big one. This is not a small challenge. It's something that they need to overcome together and will likely change their characters forever, just like it does in real life when someone has to survive in this situation. And it should be treated with that same level of gravity. Now, some GMs might be tempted that while they're on the island, they might want to introduce like ruins or a mysterious element or something on. I would typically discourage this because this situation is really supposed to be about learning to overcome the survival this survival challenge in order to live and escape. Now, before I finish up here, I just want to say that the same survival situation can work in different environments. I'm just partial to the deserted island locale because of some of the connotations that come with that. I mean, there's been lots of great stories that use this location. You know, Robinson Crusoe, Lost. There's lots of experiences for your players to fall back on, and really will emphasize the type of situation that they are in. Beyond that, other great environments to do the survival survival role playing situation in: desert, frozen tundras, derelicts. Actually, if you're running a sci-fi game, you can still do it by crash landing on a planet, kind of like I said before. But you can actually get for some really interesting survival situations, having them on a derelict ship. Having to flee your fully functional ship only to go onto a ship that's been shut off and is full of stale air and malfunctioning systems. If you're running a Warhammer 40,000 game, a role-playing game, obviously, like Dark Heresy or Rogue Trader, it might be really interesting to see how they survive on a Space Hulk. And beyond, there's other places like, Lost in the Woods even, or on a mountain. Pick your random deserted location and it'll work just as well because it's still the same situation that they're in. They got to find food, water, and make shelter. Now, of course, if you disagreed with something I had to say, or if you had insight that you wanted to add to this discussion of a survival situation in a role-playing game, please feel free to leave a comment below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.